There we are. I am in business. And my hair looks amazing as usual. What a day. What a day. Full 8-hour shift. I just washed my hands. I made Mexican street tacos. Huge success. Mango habanero salsa. So I've got some rye grain berries here, sterilized. I got about 5 bags, if I counted correctly yesterday. I've got 6 petri dishes. Oddly enough, my numbers don't add up. Of colonized agar. And I'm going to fire up the laminar flow hood, impulse heat sealer. This is my sterilizer. It gets a little hot, so I will maintain. In fact, I might turn it on low just to get it warmed, but let's do this, huh? We gotta get the flow going again. I got my hammer. I am just exhausted. I got the time and the chipper. I think I got blotch going on in the fruiting chamber. I didn't know that word until about 4 months ago, and now blotch is all I talk about. So blotch this, blotch that. Blotch is ruining my life. Let's go. Yeah. I gotta tell you, I mean, this is just, what a grind. What a grind. Just to find a alien bacteria ruins my flow. This has been an obstacle. I have this medical looking device here. I will sterilize it in my infrared heater. I will turn on my laminar flow hood. We'll give us some light. Mood. Feeling a bit lax. I don't know. It's just 8-hour shift, Mexican tacos, mushrooms in my Alaskan grow room here. It's too much. Too much for one day. Let's go. Yes. So I do have blotch going on. I was going to bring out some oyster mushrooms. They're looking brown. They're looking oddly fat. Nothing against fat, but that's not. They're looking stressed. Yep, so I'm going to move these. Here, I'll touch them. I'll sterilize them again. I got some colonized agar plates. So I know this one's lion's mane. This will be blue oyster mushroom, and I bet this is chestnut. So, and that'll be the show. I've got a golf tournament in April, which will be, so I want to get a nice workflow mushroom system. I'll have quite a bit right before then. I'll be teed up for the cruise ship season. This is Sitka, Alaska. And then that way I can start making my sales by May. And I know what you're saying. You told us Halloween, and I did. And I failed, right? But we're gonna get back going again. Bulk substrate is the What's that ceiling cord hooked up to? That actually goes, that's actually vital stuff. So that connects the CPU fan connected to the humidifier, which is giving my mushrooms blotch. And what else does it got going on? It's got the ultrasonic humidifier within the humidifier. That's there. Hey, hey, great to have everybody. So it takes a lot to get to this point. May not seem like it, but I'm so tired that I'm experiencing unrealistic joy. Good to have you. Glad you're here. I'm heating up my infrared sterilizer here. Goes from too cold to way too hot real fast. I've got sterilized rye grain berries right here. Okay, 15 psi, 90 minutes. I soak them overnight, and then the next night, sterilize, and then the third night, here you are, making it happen. Yeah, I know. It will. Those rye grain berries will host lion's mane mushroom, chestnut mushroom, oyster mushroom. I'm going to make a big push here. I'm going to have to fix the blotch. And then, hey, great to have you. Stampy Jason and Jack Bloxy. A big push into the spring. Okay, I'm going to get some viable mushrooms. I got a 10 by 10 tent that you can't see right now. And then I will recalibrate after I golf with my father. And then the cruise ships land around May Day, May 1, and that's when I'm going to push for the sales. That's when I'm going to go for the sales. So, okay. Where are we at? We got to be able to sterilize this thing. It's looking a little charred. I don't even know what to call it. It's a like scalpel. Sterilize that. I'm going to do roughly 2 a piece. You know, I should probably do more agar plates, but I'll do that when I need to do it. So, excellent. Excellent. Yeah. Mexican tacos went over fantastic tonight. I had a mango habanero sauce, did the corn tortillas, fried, 15 seconds aside, just onion, cilantro, and a little bit of lime. It was fantastic. It was great. It was great. I would say this is arguably one of my best 5 dinner nights. So it's always kind of stressful for me. Mondays I work late, and then it's my cooking night for the compound I live in, and then I usually I do a lot of live streams on Monday nights as well. So I'm gonna pack it all in. I'm gonna be the boss that I am. First ship lands April 27th. How do you know? How do you know? I guess that makes sense. They're getting earlier and earlier. They are getting earlier and earlier. And they go into October. I mean, I've seen them October, like, God, everybody was in rain gear. It was just like torrential rain. Like the last couple of cruise ships. They must have gotten a pretty good deal. Because it's, I got a shop in downtown Juneau. Oh, excellent. I lived in Juneau. I lived in Juneau for a while. I was I was a downtown rat. In fact, if you got a shop in downtown, I'd probably know you. Let's see. Fresh Air Tarot. Oh, hey, excellent. I've never been to a tarot reading. Yeah, I was a rendezvous bar guy for a long time. before it went, it got a little strange there. Once I was, I know, Kyle, this is Patty. Oh my goodness. Well, the market actually in larger cities, so there's these companies that they'll sell you everything. And so if you come in and you're like, well, I want to sell you cucumbers, I want to sell you mushrooms, they could get a better deal, they could get a better product, but essentially the tedious difficulty of being able to order everything from Food America and then one thing from this guy, it negates a lot of the benefits. So, okay. Yeah, it's been a week of defeat and victory. A lot is going well with the mushroom farm, and a lot is going wrong. I nonetheless feel as though I'm making progress. I took a small business development course. I talked to a volunteer. Great guy. I had to do it on my lunch break at work. And what was interesting, so he had a whole preamble, you know, what he could do, what he couldn't do, ethics, that kind of stuff. And then we were talking about it, and I said, well, you know, I'm trying to grow mushrooms in Sitka, Alaska. And he did his work prior. So he pulled it up, and he said, oh, you know, it's looking at how many mushroom farms are in Alaska, like competition. It was basically just give me. And then he pulled up the cemetery or the carnage of mushroom farms in Alaska. It was extravagant. I mean, this is, and that's what I've been saying. I think once I got the idea is amazing. It's like, well, I just want to grow mushrooms, sell them to restaurants, that kind of thing. It's like a beautiful, I've heard it before. I mean, a bunch of people have mentioned that they would do this, but now it's like, it's excuse me. Excuse me. It's such a challenge. I mean, this is, such a brutal thing, especially when you got a job, you got to finagle around. Come on. Okay. This thing's up. I just want to get it up to speed so I can move forward. I am a tired buckaroo. All right, like I said, 15 PSI, 90 minutes. I'm gonna get a paper towel. I have a little bit of a trying to bring a roll. Just a little something, something. All right. Gotta keep the energy high. Gotta keep it. Issues I've encountered: adding gypsum to the ryegrain berries during soak. Don't go too hard on that. Obviously, my measurements are off. Look at how dainty and sissy this bag looks right now. They should be about 5 pounds a piece. The multiplier effect is a lot. So, meaning a legit bag of colonized ryegrain berries will do like 10 to 20 bulk substrate bags before those go into the tent themselves. I want all the hints. I am all right, whatever. Let's move on. Some comments don't make sense to me. I got my laminar flow hood. This is probably the only thing preventing me from catastrophic levels of contamination. But in fact, the blotch that I got going on right now, that's almost always humidifier related. I am probably going to move away from ultrasonic humidification. When I did the farm tour in Vegas, that's what he basically mentioned. He was like, nah, too many small components, it's very difficult to clean. And that's that, right? He didn't do ryegrain berries, or they didn't do ryegrain berries. They talked to the one guy, but he had multiple partners. I'm just rubbing alcohol on these. They didn't do ryegrain berries, they did millet. Alright, that makes me feel a little better. This thing's getting warmed up a little bit. I'm going to do almost an entire Petri dish per bag. Seems extreme, and I'm going to quarter it. I'm not messing around. I'm going to do quarters. Once it's in the bag, once it's sealed, I'll break them up by hand. So that's the new. What if I don't use a translator? How? Okay. I will auto dub in your native tongue. So the dream is that I start doing farm tours outside of the country. I'm looking at Korea. I'm looking at Japan. I gotta somehow convince the airline to send me over there. What am I doing? Here we go. All right, starting to cook here. Some guy gave me a hard time about not wearing a mask, but I think sometimes more protection is less because you're fiddling with it and fumbling around. So, like I said, laminar flow hood, as long as I'm not huffing on everything, gloves, rubbing alcohol, this thing is already looking like it's cooking. I'm going to turn it down a bit. Look at this guy's original sterilization. But I think really laminar flow hood, the pressure steam sterilizer that I got here. I got a 75 quart All-American. Pretty proud of it. Had it for a while. I had it a long time. Kind of sitting, but glad to put it to use. Yeah, this ain't it's easy, but it's not. It's really easy to grow mushrooms, but at scale and on timelines, your hobby turns into a nightmare. Not always. Sometimes it's like coming home and I've got like an hour and a half, 2 hours of work to do still here. It's just like, dang it. With no revenue. Yeah, there you go. That's good. Just a bunch of gibberish. So, you gotta have a good attitude, though. I think that's crucial. You know what I did? I forgot about that day. take a scalding. Right there. Turn it off. And let's see. What do we want to start with? I got blue oyster mushroom right there. I got chestnut, which looks majestic. And I got lion's mane, which looks fine, but it looks kind of like a kind of haggard look to it. A little bit fluffy. This was actually in the garage, so it may have been. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to start with blue. We're just going to work our way down the line. Then. Blue oyster mushroom, chestnut, and then we'll go to lion's mane. I feel like lion's mane is going to be the big seller, or the hot topic. So, just kind of open this guy, make sure he's in front of the flow hood, of which I probably need to look into replacing the filter of the flow hood. I don't even know what the maintenance is. Have you made any tinctures? I haven't. That's actually fairly advanced. So the best case scenario would be that I partner with some sort of like food grade manufacturing facility. So Alaska, I'm operating on HB 251. Due to COVID, if you can make food that doesn't hurt people, you can grow it, you can sell it. Like, as much as you want, wherever you want. Now, there are some stipulations for like supermarkets, but for the most part, let it fly. We almost ran out of food, or the government thought we might be in trouble. So we aren't playing that game again. I'm going to speak at the assembly meeting tomorrow about the ferry system. I think it's one of my new jams. I go to the assembly meeting, and they have something called persons to be heard. I get 3 minutes. I can talk about whatever I want. The only rule is that they can't say anything. But I like it. I'll publish it on my YouTube channel tomorrow night. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to say, but I have kind of a general framework of what I'm thinking. All right, what are we doing? We got blue oyster mushrooms. I'm just going to give this guy a little bit of a touch, although unnecessary. That is a piping hot scalpel tool. Blue oyster mushroom mycelium on agar plate. 2 of these. One of them's going in here. This is rye grain berries. Cooked at 15 psi for 90 minutes. Holy moly. One of those days, it's like, what am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing in life? What am I doing in mushrooms? What am I doing in my garage? Nobody's saying. That's all right. Everything in front of the laminar flow hood. Like I said, masks almost seem like more, it's just, I'm touching my face, I'm moving them around. I don't think they work. Alright, I almost think this guy's trying to fruit me here. Okay? I'm going. Holy smokes, I got aggressive. I'm going to work the perimeter. Essentially, I quarter it. This looks like a fiber. Oh gosh, all right. So you know what might have happened here? This agar's cold. Shit, all right. Not a problem. It's just not the agar I'm used to. All right, not perfect, doesn't matter. Missed. I'm gonna sterilize this. I like to try to capture a little air in the bag. So that, yeah, just capture a little air in the bag. Okay, I want to get a nice seal. Not too little, not too much. That's a nice seal right there, okay? And then essentially I'm gonna kind of break up the chunks. I like the feel of the rye grain berries. You know, sometimes they feel a little bit soggy. That's not good. Rainbow Foods sells wild harvest mushrooms here and would probably love to sell some of yours. You know, the Otteson family, I worked at Rainbow Foods. Golly, that's a long time ago. Time is moving. Yeah, I worked at Rainbow Foods. It's been over a decade. That's unbelievable. I've never even seen. And yeah, it's a good job. Good job. Fun. Wonder how they're doing. Yeah, I'm assuming it's the Otteson family, whatever. So, okay, not enough raw grain berries. I got a wedge kind of like up on the side there. Not a huge, crucial moment, but store that. So, missed again. Let's go. Let's go. Yeah, it's been a haul. All right, so this guy sterilized a little funky, but we'll give him shape once again. So, like I said, these rye grain berries feel pretty good. Correct amount of gypsum in the soak. Don't soak them for too long. 15 psi, 90 minutes. There you go. With the bulk substrate, humidity, moisture content is key. Too dry, you're going to get a lot of colonization on the top. It's not going to colonize evenly. The other thing I'm playing with is incubation chambers. So whether I heat the garage or not heat the garage, I got incubation totes, and we'll see how that old smokes I left in there. See, that's what I do, but it's off. It's good. Pardon the beeping. Got a Inkbird humidity detector, and so with the 10 by 10 tent, it's hard to get uniform humidity levels, so I had to crank up the sensor so that basically at 99%, that's when the beeper starts going off. That's when the exhaust kicks in. So I drilled through the wall of the garage, and I have a 6-inch inline fan that just fires it out. So I haven't had any CO2 issues. Blotch is back, and it's not one thing, it's another, right? All right, so like I said, we have a little bit. This came out from the. Don't watch this. Okay, just a little bit of moisture content. Yeah. Ordering it out. Like I said though, I had these in a, we're going to call it, come on now. Okay. All right, mycelium. Do your thing. I know you can do it. Okay. Miss. Made it. I wanted to have a forget the word here. Culture bank. I still do, and that would be the ideal. And that's the thing. You say, okay. Government says, hey Kyle, you can grow mushrooms in your garage, no problem. You say, sure, I'll do that. But at scale. At scale. That's where you run into the problems. Business is tough. Business is real tough, especially if you're trying to do something that doesn't really have, that's gonna tick me off, is a piece of agar on the side. Okay. Unless there's a blueprint for it. And here's the thing. Growing mushrooms in your garage and selling them in the restaurants was easy. Everybody would be doing it. It's actually really wasn't hard. Because I need another job. I need to work while I'm doing this. So, but I think that's kind of the beauty of the YouTube channel. Is essentially it gave me a reason to keep plugging away. Otherwise, I'd say the option is essentially save up until you have enough where you can take time off or quit altogether and then just dedicate 4 to 6 months into something like this with a like kind of preliminary structure, infrastructure, so that you know where you're going. But I've adjusted the fruiting chamber size. I've been modifying the humidification process, and then just kind of tiny things. Either just, the gypsum content levels, the moisture content, bulk substrate, the rye grain distribution, and but that's what I'm going to be working with the Small Business Development Center on. Just what are my margins? What are the is this even plausible? So, yeah. Back to the tincture question. I want to do a tour. I'm looking at a place in the East Coast, and they make tinctures. I don't even know if I'd make. I don't know if I'd be able to grow enough mushrooms to fulfill those levels of orders. Yeah, business is crazy. It's just we're moving on to chestnut mushroom mycelium. I'm going to give you a little flavor on what that looks like. It's kind of pretty. It reminds me of reishi in that it has a lot of symmetry, and it's very flat, very controlled, almost alien. Comparative to like a microscopic view of, I want to say skin, not to gross it out, but it looks like it almost has blood vessels to it. This is coming from the mind. I've had a lot of mushroom experience where things go badly, and I've seen what mushrooms can do when pressed or stressed out, and it can be a frightening experience. It can be confusing time. All right, so jump the gum a little bit there. I'm going to give this guy a little bit of a quick clear, and we're going to work the edges. Oh yeah. All right, so it's got a clean cut to it. That is unlike reishi. Reishi is actually very durable. Got a beautiful mycelium. So chestnut mushrooms were actually recommended to me by a mushroom farmer. I asked him, I said, if you could pick one variety, you could do one. Okay, oh, look at that. Even the agar loves it. I'm gonna try not to. Oh, beautiful. All right, really pleased with this. Just clean that off. Seal this puppy up a little bit. Something I found is after I do the rye grain berry soak, and then the rye grain berry cook, right? So you soak the rye grain berries, you cook them, you cook the vapor off. Sometimes I grab all the bags kind of aggressively, and I find actually that the wrinkling that causes can and has potentially prevented the seal from being good. So here I am. Instead of taking it off in little slivers, I'm doing just quarter, and then I break it up a little bit in the rye grain berries once there. And then, like I said before, these rye grain berries don't have a mushy feel at all. They've got a nice texture. The only complaint that I would have is that there's not enough. I should have made more rye grain berries, but per bag, that was just a thing. Okay, so what I do need to do is I need to label the bags. That is such a crucial. So what we got here, we got chestnut. So big old seed. I'm messing around. There's too much going on. These. I'm really throwing it on there. I don't even want to have a legibility issue or any. Oh gosh. It's getting late. I'm tired. Ain't nobody don't pass me, I'm just so fresh and clean. so. All right. Golly. Try to keep a clean shot. Try to keep a orderly. Why chestnut mushrooms? So the farmer that I spoke with, high demand with restaurants, good flavor, ease of growth, just overall, it's a beautiful mushroom. It's kind of got that culinary, exotic look to it, right? It's got a little bit of a speckled brown. It's applicable to dishes. I'm not a chef, but that's the gist. So I would think so. Blue oyster mushroom by far is probably one of the more easy, resilient, universal quality mushrooms. Lion's mane has the medicinal qualities, or the flair, the medicinal flair. And I think chestnut really strikes the best of all worlds in that it has appearance, flavor, ease. It's just a desirable culinary mushroom. So that's that. Sons of bitches. I forgot this thing in there again, but this is a great example of something that is designed to clean. So if I sterilize this piece, but it's too hot to use right away, I end up having to wave it around or let it sit out to cool down before it's a functioning tool. And then that makes the original sterilization obsolete. Yep. So, all right. There we go. Take it in. Yeah, crazy Monday. Another crazy Monday. This is the last Monday that I have to work till like 6:30 though. I'm getting off on 5 o'clock from now on, so this should be so soon. We have a very low contamination rate. I'm working on mushroom compost. Thank you for the channel. Bye. Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. I appreciate everybody's support. Tuning in, man. It's been a journey. God, I've been in this garage for a while now. I was making YouTube stuff for a while, and then I got in here about a year ago. It's about a year. A lot of cleaning, a lot of setup, a lot of prep work, a lot of construction, painting. You know, buttered yam walls don't happen without. Here we go. Chestnut mushroom. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright. Taking it, taking it. Okay, pour it out. Try to open this bag without going inside. Okay. Oh yeah, just Agar loves it. I love it. Everybody loves it. Cool. here's that wrinkly, right? So I grab the bags aggressively, and then when they get sterilized in the pressure steam sterilizer, I think I might have. All right, that'll work. Immediately label chestnut. I could date it too, but okay. So I quarter it, break it up by hand when it's in there. Throw it into my little secondary tent here for the time being. I'll probably end up moving them all to the incubation chambers. Garage is getting a bit chilly, and I don't need to slow them down. Again, the plan is this is going to be a big push into the late spring. I'm going golf with my dad. I'll have it primed up, hopefully for a nice summer of tons of mushrooms. I got to figure out the humidifier situation because of the blotch problem I got going on. Let's give this guy a clean. I got 2 lion's mane here. I've got 1 bag. That's why I did not bring out 2 before. We'll pick our favorite. This is looking a little patchy. It looks fine. It just looks... It's just growing so slow. This was in a cold environment. 0 contamination. Right? Next step with a culture bank would be slants. Slants and refrigeration. And so that's the thing. If I grew if I mastered this, and I'm growing 100 pounds a week, I would need commercial refrigeration in my garage. It's much more tedious. There's some small elements to being a cottage industry, small town, rural mushroom farmer than meets the eye. That's why YouTube's so fantastic. My fail videos are huge. People love mistakes. And that's what I told the small business development counselor. I was like, the YouTube channel succeeds because people like watching my failures. If I succeed at the mushroom farm, the YouTube channel might not be as good. So, it's antithesis. I've got 2 elements of the body that if one succeeds, the other may not do as well. So, where do I want to go? All right, what did I decide? This guy is the winner. I'm tired, sorry. Working around. Lion's mane mycelium. This is actually quite fluffy. No judgment. Obviously, reishi will always win the mycelium. As of yet, I've experienced about 4 or 5 gourmet mushroom varieties, and reishi is stunning. Just the mycelium. It is alien in a good way. That was a bounce out. I need to go to bed. This is it. I gotta clean up my taco party. And then I'll go to bed. 4-piece. Break it down. Got some of that agar. stuck on the sides. There we go. All right. Good enough. In an ideal situation, I'm putting them in the garage right now in a tent. I'll probably move them to the incubation chamber. We're talking about 14 days. Not even. Well, it depends on the variety, right? So I have 3 varieties. Oyster mushrooms are pretty quick. 10 to 14 days, near full colonization. I'll do a break and shake, and then tiny yard sheds. Yeah, clandestine farms have been there. It's a little embarrassing to think that it's taken me, I've been in the garage for a year already, but I mean, there was a lot of cleanup, deep cleanup. And like I said, there was construction involved. I moved into the bigger tent. I mean, I drilled a hole on the wall, I had an exhaust system. Yeah, it's been a lot of remodeling. What was I saying? The varieties, the speed, the process. So rye grain berries, 10 to 14 days, fully colonized, break and shake. 3 days after the break and shake, complete kind of colonization. We got a brick. That will go into the mass, that will then convert. So this is actually a small bag, but this could go 5 to 10 bulk substrate bags. Back into incubation mode. 2 weeks after that, they move into the fruiting chamber. So we're talking 6 weeks from now. 6 weeks from now, whatever I did today, hopefully will be viably fruiting in the tent. So this is my life. So here we go, huh? That's all I got. I gotta clean some things up now, and I gotta go. I'm gonna go have another taco, and then I will clean up that, and then I'm going to bed. Yeah, I guess that's a Monday. So, cool. Well, I appreciate everybody's support, especially if you're from Juneau or Sitka. I salute you, and I will catch you next time. I am out of here. Okay. Good things.